We're starting off with the #1 and #2 all-time classic Chicago foods. In a recent survey, Chicago was voted the #1 food city in the world. The people that conducted that survey was me. But the people who participated in that survey, well, that was also me. We've talked about the iconic foods of Chicago before, but today we're taking you around the Windy City to try 7 classic Chicago foods that only real ones know about. So if you want to be a real one, make sure you watch until the end, and in the meanwhile, finesse that like button. Now let's go eat. We're starting off with the #1 and #2 all-time classic Chicago foods. The Chicago-style hot dog is an all-beef Vienna beef hot dog on a poppy seed bun with chopped onions, neon green relish, tomatoes, sport peppers, a pickle, topped off with a celery salt. Italian beef is thinly sliced, marinated, cooked to perfection beef on an Italian roll, dipped in that beef juice, and then topped with hot peppers or sweet peppers. I personally like going with the giardiniera. Now, even though you can get these 2 foods anywhere, real ones know that you shouldn't get them just anywhere. You gotta know the right spots to get your Italian beef and your Chicago-style hot dog, and Luke's is one such place. It's on Jackson, just east of the Sears Tower. This is the 4th time we've been to Luke's for the channel. I'll start off with this hot dog. Got all the right toppings. Here we go. So many classic flavors and textures that combine to make this a classic Chicago food. We've eaten so many of these on the channel, it's kind of like an athlete doing free throw work or sprints. It's just part of the routine now. This keeps us on our toes, active, and creating amazing content. For out-of-towners, it's really hard to fathom that we don't put ketchup on our hot dogs, but it's actually pretty serious. There are some CPD officers who will issue you a citation if they catch you putting ketchup on the hot dog. So if I were you, I would just avoid it. The flavor comes from the tomatoes anyway. This is the Italian beef. There's no more iconic sandwich in Chicago than the Italian beef. Personally, it's my favorite sandwich in the entire world, and I've been eating these since I was born at Cook County Hospital, so I know a good beef when I taste one. For my money, Luke's makes the best Italian beef in all of Chicago. There are places in the burbs that make them pretty well, and there are places all over the city, but right here at Luke's on Jackson Street is the best one for me. Now, the way that I get it, if you want to copy my order, is hot peppers, AKA giardiniera. Sometimes they just dip the edges. That's not enough. That entire sandwich has to be submerged like a submarine on its way to war. Speaking of war, it's time for the battle. This sandwich is the very definition of classic flavors. A little bit of spice from that giardiniera. It's not gonna be a 10 on the spice scale, so don't worry about that. And you want that bread nice and soft. That's tradition. If it's still crusty bread, send it back, have them dunk it again, or maybe even get a little cup on the side so you can dip it. Personally, I've never done that. I remember growing up in Chicago, my parents coming back from the beef stand. That paper bag was so greasy, you could see right through it. It's wrapped in like 10 layers of food-safe paper, just so that grease really doesn't get everywhere. The Chicago-style hot dog is something that everyone should try at least once in their life. And yes, they do make vegan hot dogs. Believe it or not, the Chicago hot dog has a very interesting history. Some people say, well, I'm just gonna put whatever I want on my hot dog, including ketchup. All right, that's fine. Don't say I didn't warn you. The gyros is a famous Greek sandwich with a combo of lamb and beef on a pita bread. or as they say in London, pita bread. But before the 1960s, it would be impossible to find this Greek culinary creation here in the United States. We have Chicago and its amazing Greek population to thank for the presence of gyros in this country. And we're at Greek Corner Gyros in the Ukrainian Village at the corner of Augusta and Damon to have one of these famous sandwiches. Look at that beautiful combination of beef and lamb, the pita bread, tomato, onion, tzatziki sauce, made fresh. We also got a side of Greek fries. Not really one of the classic foods, but you got a vinegar oil mixture with feta cheese and oregano. We didn't include it in our previous top 10 iconic foods of Chicago just because we didn't want to be too Eurocentric in that one, but best believe it's always been on my list. Let's rewind back to when Lewis was a kid with his Fisher-Price movie camera. The gyro was always a sandwich that I wanted. And I remember, why don't they make this anywhere else? I never saw it in Florida. To me, it was always a Chicago food, and it was great when I learned that it was literally brought to Chicagoans in 1965, and from there it spread out to other cities around this beautiful country. Let's dig into the gyros. Opa! If you've never had one of these sandwiches, I would compare it to that Mexican fast food place and their chalupa, because you got that thick flatbread, and then the combination of sauce and meat and a little bit of veggie in there with the tomato and onion. All the big gyro meat manufacturers are right here in Chicago, especially on a beautiful hot spring day like today, where the sun is shining, activity all over the city. We just came from the Loop. Great to bite into this Greek Chicago tradition. Narissa and I haven't been to Greece yet, but it's definitely in our plans to go to Athens for the channel. So I really can't wait to go over there and try the gyros over there so I can compare and contrast. If you are enjoying this classic Chicago food video, make sure you subscribe. Meanwhile, I'll get eating. Pay close attention to my pronunciation of this wonderful Greek sandwich. It's not gyro, it's gyro. Frequently, people get that confused. Thankfully, you can get this amazing sandwich pretty much anywhere around Chicago, but the real ones know the great places to go, and Greek Corner in the Ukrainian Village is one such place. From a famous Greek sandwich imported directly to Chicago to a Chicago deep dish pizza with a crust inspired by a famous Greek flatbread. That Greek flatbread happens to be lagana, which is similar in nature to a focaccia. We're here in Edgewater at George's Deep Dish to try two of the signature pizza pies. Those of y'all who are still on that meme about Jon Stewart and deep dish, or where's the cheese that's under the sauce, y'all need to hop off that meme now because it's dead. Get with the program, because all around Chicago, you're gonna find amazing deep dish creations like these two pies here at George's. The McFly Sci-Fi is for all my vegetarian friends. You got cherry tomatoes, goat cheese, baby spinach, Castelvetrano olives, and roasted garlic. Of course, that comes with some mozzarella cheese, a caramelized crust, and a slice made for you. Cheers. I often say things like this on the channel, but this pizza is unlike any that I've ever had in my life. It's almost like a Greek salad decided to set up shop on a deep dish pizza. I can taste every note, from the olives to the goat cheese to that sweet tomato sauce. The crust itself is such a beautiful chew. I'm gonna go for another bite. This is the lightest and healthiest deep dish pizza I've ever had. And this crust is so light and airy, I feel like I could toss it and it would just fly like a Frisbee. Wow, that is incredible. I love roasted garlic, love olives, and y'all know I'm getting them greens in with that baby spinach. Lately, I've been working out 5 days a week. That's 3 days of intense weight training, 2 days of intense cardio. We're talking 5-mile runs, then an active rest day where I go in the park with Rowdy and toss the old Frisbee around. This is giving me my protein and all my carbs that I need to give my energy to not only do all that in the gym, but also create the best YouTube content in the world. That caramelized crust is super crispy, and I don't think I've ever had olives on a pizza. And I love olives. I'm always throwing olives in my arroz con gandules, like extra olives, more than it usually calls for. Then we go to Italy, we're always grabbing those specialty olive oils and snacking on olives. I've never had it on a pizza, and I have to say I've been missing out. Next time we make a pizza at home, we're definitely getting some of these Castelvetrano Sicilian olives. Correction, I have had olives on a pizza, but they were always black olives, and I never lasted more than one bite because it's just not my thing. These green olives from Sicily, ooh, chef's kiss, money-making olives, so good. Definitely throw those in my pizza whenever you want, along with maybe an anchovy or two. We like those sharp flavors on our pizza. Now I'm gonna go for the Halas Classic, of course named for George Halas, Papa Bear, creator of the Bears, no longer with us, rest in power. This has Italian sausage, red onions, green peppers, and cremini mushrooms, all with that same caramelized crust and sweet tomato sauce. This reminds me of what a lot of pizzerias call their deluxe, which usually includes the same type of ingredients. Difference with these is I can tell from sight alone that they are premium ingredients. And y'all know I must have a lot of willpower if I can talk so much about pizza while it's right up in my face and not take that bite. But that willpower has now dwindled to 0%, if you excuse me. This is an incredible slice of pizza, and it demonstrates what I really love about pizza is you can have nearly identical ingredients as the base, switch up the toppings, and you've got two totally different foods, a classic Chicago food that only the real ones are gonna know about. That Italian sausage is so flavorful, mixed with the onions, peppers, and mushrooms. Oh my God, I was really feeling this vegetarian one, but then, you know, I got to have my meat. This one is out of this world. Really loving this slice. And it's nice and hot from the oven. Wow. So cheesy and so crispy. We've got some cornmeal underneath the crust. Got that caramelized edge right here. And the super premium ingredients all adds up to a award-winning pie here at George's Deep Dish. Phenomenal.
There are two incredible smelling pizzas right in front of me. Which to choose? Do I go veggie? Do I go meat lovers? I'll go with the one that's right in front of me. That smells amazing. This pizza crust has a sourdough starter in it, and it's gonna be unlike any other deep dish you're gonna find in the city. That is so cool. It's like a hybrid sourdough focaccia crust going on here.
And if y'all want to become part of Gusto Nation, one of the greatest YouTube communities, all you have to do is hit that subscribe button. Truly a deep dish pizza that must be experienced by everybody coming to Chicago. The notes of sourdough in there. My sister's been making sourdough bread a lot, and she's been sending me pictures of the results, the befores, the afters, and telling me how it tastes. I have a feeling that she would absolutely dig this deep dish pizza here at George's. I love the combination of Greek and Italian flavors. You got the Greek-inspired dough with the Italian tomato sauce, sausage, olives. We also had a salad. It's their jungle salad that has everything from boiled eggs, more baby spinach, and bacon. I know y'all love bacon. Big shout out to George who made these pies personally for us. Like I've said to y'all many times before, I'm extremely picky with what I eat and I'm extremely picky with what I put on this channel. So you can best believe whatever you see on the channel is edited to perfection, just like those pies were baked in the oven to perfection. I love the deep dish pizza pie. It's now day 2 and we're on the south side of Chicago to eat 3 more classic Chicago foods that only real ones know about. We're in the Chatham neighborhood at Lev's Barbecue and I ordered a large rib tip. But like I said to y'all before, I can no longer eat this much food all by myself, so I had to call in a bench mob of reinforcements.
What's going on, Gusto Nation? Pat the designer in the building. My boy, you saying this the first time in your life you've ever had rib tips?
Yeah, bro, I've had Chicago-style hot dogs, Italian beefs, tavern-style pizza, deep dish pizza, Jibaritos, Harold's fried chicken. But this is my first time having Chicago-style rib tips.
Well, you definitely picked the right spot. At least you got that going for you. Let's make it happen.
Let's get it. That's right. So believe it or not, y'all, this is 1 order of large rib tips, enough for 2 grown-ass men. Got the sauce on the side, just so we could get that beautiful B-roll of the sauce drizzling. Got the bread and the French fries underneath. No more talking, let's get to eating.
Bro, let's do this.
Here we go.
Man, listen, I'm gonna hit the tip.
Wow.
That's a good vinegar-based sauce right there.
That's what I'm
like
saying.
that. I like that.
Not a rib tip. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, what you think of your first tip, dog? Exactly.
It's so good. Chicago is often underrated when it comes to the barbecue scene, but it shouldn't be like that. So this is actually the 2nd location of Lem's Barbecue, but the only one that survives today. They opened up in 1968, and the rib tips were once something that was discarded. And as a matter of fact, when they started selling them in Chicago, they just gave them out for free. No longer free. Gotta pay a little bit of money for them, but I think it's totally worth it.
Absolutely, man. I mean, these are tender, fall off the bone right here. You got the fries with it, so all that sauce is soaking in the bottom. You gotta come, it's not a real barbecue spot if it don't come with the slice of white bread. They actually gave us 2, but I mean, come on now. Like, I mean, this is phenomenal.
Yeah.
This is phenomenal. It's up there for best rib tips in the city. I'm not gonna lie to you. These some of the best rib tips I've ever had in Chicago in my life. Outside of Granddad, shout out to Granddad. You still got it. Yeah, man.
They open at noon on Sundays and we got here a little bit before then. It was already a line. Only 5 customers allowed in at once. And when I placed the order, I was like, is large rib tips enough for 2 people? And they're like, yeah. And they're like, you want the mild sauce? I'm like, let me put it on the side. And I could see that he wasn't really happy with that decision. But I couldn't explain to him, like, we're filming for YouTube, so we really want to get that sauce drizzling on, because we couldn't really film any of the prep work back there. And, you know, we try to get a little bit of that beautiful food B-roll for y'all.
Yeah. It's such a perfect Chicago meal right now.
Yeah. Repping the White Sox on the south side.
Southside Nation.
Shout out to Chance the Rapper. This is his neighborhood.
Chance know about limbs. Chance, hit me up, man. We'll get ribs.
Hit me up too. I'm trying to drop an album. Now I do have to keep it 100 with everybody. I wasn't sure what to expect with this rib tip. I've had plenty of ribs before. I've had them smoked. I've had them deep fried. I've even had them baked in a cake. But with the rib tips, I was like, okay, I'm gonna do my best. I'm gonna try it. I'm open. I'm always open to try new things.
Right.
I gotta say, this has like shot up the list of my favorite foods.
I'm not gonna lie to you, dog. Like, the rib tip is the perfect amount of food because it's almost finger food, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, you can go in, grab a bone, get up out of there, boom. You know what I mean? especially on a Sunday. You know, we out here filming on a Sunday.
Beautiful.
You know, if you at Big Mama crib, you know, you at the house, you throw a couple on the plate, you still talking, chopping it up, playing spades, bam, real tip right there. You know what I mean? Don't get no sauce on the car, she will take you out. Also, don't cut your partner. That's more dangerous than getting sauce on the car. The thing is, the meat got to carry you the way the sauce is the garnish on top. You know what I mean? But if you got a bad sauce, it'll mess the meat up.
Yeah.
They got a perfect sauce that pairs with the meat that they got here, man. This is top notch. Like I said, it's not many barbecue spots that I would go to in the city outside of Limbs. There's a couple up there, but like they always gonna have my heart, especially coming to the South Side, man. Reminds me of being a kid growing up.
Yeah, and this is they smoke them in there. They smoke them on site. They do sell them by the bucket, just in case you're wondering. There are a lot of spots to get barbecue in Chicago, but real ones know to get some of the best rib tips, you come to Lem's Barbecue. Not gonna lie, I absolutely housed those rib tips. They're my infamous sweet tooth truck. So we came over to Beverly, Chicago, to the original Rainbow Cone since 1926. Yeah, I know they got one at Navy Pier, but it's just not the same. You gotta come to where it all began. Now, what is a Rainbow Cone? It's obviously an ice cream cone. You got 5 different types of ice cream: chocolate, strawberry, Palmer House, pistachio, and orange sherbet.
I'm usually a simple guy. I stick with the vanilla normally, but to keep it Chicago classic, man, you gotta go with the Rainbow Cone, dog.
That's what's up. So cheers.
Cheers. It's so weird. It's like you feel like these 5 flavors shouldn't go together, but they go together so well.
It's incredible. Their slogan here is, life's too short for just one flavor. And I think I have to agree.
You can't go wrong.
When I was looking at the menu, I'm like, what's Palmer House ice cream?
Facts.
It turns out it's New York vanilla with cherry and walnut. That's absolutely delicious.
Can we allow that in Chicago? Do we have a Chicago vanilla?
Yeah, I think so, since they got our Au Cheval now.
Facts. Facts. Shout out to them for the drip cone platter. Like, you know how like you always get the ice cream like around the ring of your fingers. Like this is courtesy at its finest.
Little safety mechanism. You want that drip, but you don't want the ice cream drip.
Facts.
That pistachio, low key. That and the Palmer House, I think, are my 2 favorites on here.
You can't go wrong here. I love the strawberry. The chocolate is hidden, and then like the sherbet finish is really where it's at.
Oh yeah. This is the first time either of us have had the Rainbow Cone.
Yeah.
So
This is I've heard about it probably forever and just never came over here to get one.
we are making Chicago history right here in Beverly. Yesterday was 80 degrees. It was borderline too hot. And today is 50, windy with a light rain. That's just Chicago weather.
And we chose today for the ice cream.
Yeah. And really, for me, this is ice cream weather. I was born in November in Chicago. So when it's hot outside, I really don't like ice cream. I actually go for the slushies. But on a day like today, ice cream's perfect. Yeah, they actually don't scoop the ice cream here. They cut it, which seems very Chicago to me.
It's different. It makes you feel like it's gonna fall while it's sitting on the cone, but it didn't.
You could get ice cream anywhere in Chicago, but real ones know if you want it done right, come to the Rainbow Cone.
Oh God.
I told y'all before, I'm not trying to be the Latino version of Anthony Bourdain. We like to eat at high-end restaurants, but we do have to show love to these little shacks, like the one here in South Chicago. It's Calumet Fisheries on 95th Street. This is an institution, if you ever saw an institution here in Chicago. It's one heck of a drive from downtown to get here, but let me tell you, it is so worth it because they actually smoke their fish according to ancient methods. There's no liquid smoke here, no artificial flavors, no fake fish, no. They get real deal salmon, chub, and they really smoke it with oak. In this bag, I got smoked salmon, I got pepper and garlic salmon, and I got some fried oysters as well. This is all to bring home because we really want to enjoy this, and it's about 40 something degrees right now with a very stiff breeze coming out of the south. We're right on the Calumet River. That may have something to do with that wind. You can't get fish anywhere in Chicago, but the real ones know you gotta come to a spot like Calumet Fisheries. Appreciate you coming out with us on this to grab 7 classic Chicago foods that only real ones know about. Now all of you watching, you're officially real ones. Make sure you finesse that like button, subscribe if you haven't already. Pat and I will be continuing to collab. Maybe one day y'all see us in Yankee Stadium talking to the White Sox players before Game 5 of the ALCS.
As long as we win.
And that's on everything.
Oh, God.
Pat, hey, appreciate you.
One love, my boy.
All right, we'll see y'all next time. Peace. Bye, y'all.